Hello, and you're all very welcome along to the latest Champ.ie podcast, Ireland's premier horse racing podcast in association with Boyle Sports, Gorham Park, EJ Menswear, Shamrock Thoroughbreds, Midland Travel and McCafferty's traditional Irish bars.
They're coming to the final fence in the 25 Govs tie yesterday. Nick Rocket lands in the lead from Velvet Elvis, gone well clear of Favori de Shondu and Bushman's Pass. They're well strung out. Nick Rocket on the stand side for win number 10 in the race for Willie Mullins.
Enter our Champ.ie headline competition in association with Midland Travel, where you could win a trip for two to the Cheltenham Festival 2026. For a chance to win, simply subscribe to the Champ.ie podcast on YouTube if you haven't already, and scan the QR code to enter your competition details today. We look forward to discussing your weekly #5cast selections in the comment section below. Hello, and you're all very welcome along to the latest edition of the Champ.ie Horse Racing Podcast, where it is, of course, episode 32, and in association with Gorham Park, Boyle Sports, EJ Menswear, Shamrock Thoroughbreds, McCafferty's Irish Bars and Midland Travel. On today's show, we're taking an AntePost look, of course, ahead, Barry, of the Punchestown Festival. Looking forward to the end of the national hunt season, and always a great 5 days at Punchestown to look forward to.
Yeah, certainly is, Dave. Some of the, I suppose, key trends. Willie Mullins, over the last 10 years, he's averaged 14 winners at the festival itself at Punchestown. And of course, 12 grade ones to look forward to. And Dave, we're going to take a look at these 5 grade ones at the festival itself. And outside of the 5cast, Dave, hopefully try to identify some value for the punters and the listeners watching, listening, whether you're watching on YouTube, listening on Spotify or Apple. They've hopefully Champ.ie have got the viewers and listeners covered ahead of the Punchestown Festival.
Yes, absolutely. And of course, Barry, ahead of Punchestown as well, we're going to have a very special show. And of course, that is going to be our second annual awards night. And that's going to be available from Wednesdays. Tell us a little bit more about our awards night coming our way this week.
Well, we did it for the first time last season, Dave, and we actually did it after the Punchestown Festival. And to be honest, got a lot of good feedback, and it's good to give some recognition, I suppose, to some of the stars in the game. 12 different categories, Dave, 34 nominations, including a very special, of course, a Hall of Fame award as well. So looking forward to that, Dave, and that'll be out on Wednesday as well, ahead of Punchestown. So I suppose the champs will be crowned, Dave. The kings will be crowned on the podcast on this upcoming Wednesday. So looking forward to it, Dave. Let us know down below who you think should be the Champ.ie Horse of the Year 2026.
Absolutely right. Well, our very special guest this week is going to be JJ Slevin on the show. Let's get a little word from JJ ahead of his interview later on in the show.
We'll go chasing next year. Hopefully all going well to get a few nice schools into him before he has his first run over fences, and hope for the best. So looking forward to him now for next year for novice chasing.
Yes, well, we look ahead to the first of the 5 races with the 2 mile champion novices hurdle grade 1, where Gordon Elliott could get off to a good start in extending that lead, of course, in the Trainers' Championship, Barry.
El Kairos, Dave, I don't think he will, but I think he's very, very short at 7-4. Disappointed at the festival, and based on what he's achieved on the racecourse, I thought El Kairos was quite skimpy at 7-4 top of the market. I hope Willie Mullins runs He's on Fire and drops him back in. He's 8-1 in the market, and I'd nearly take a chance at 8-1, Dave, that he goes here, because he'd have a massive chance. Look, I think he could have the X factor, Dave. Love how he covers the ground. A touch keen over 2.5 miles at Fairyhouse last time. Very, very impressive. We were actually on duty, the two of us, when he won up at Carlisle. You turned around to me and you said, that's the Supreme winner. That's Willie Mullins' top novice. He didn't line up in the Supreme. Obviously, it was a tight turnaround. But he went to Fairyhouse. I thought he couldn't have been any more impressive, Dave. I absolutely loved what he done off the back of from the back of the second last. He really picked up, showed a really good turn of foot. And what I loved the most was how he attacked the last hurdle. He absolutely winged it and showed loads of scope. I'd say this horse will go chasing next season. And I know he was getting quotes for the Brown Advisory, but I thought he loaded loads of pace, Dave. And given how keen he was, maybe fences might settle him down a little bit as well. And I actually thought he screamed Arkle Chase 2027. When he did win at Fairyhouse, that was my initial thoughts anyway. I think he has a bit of the X factor about him, Dave. Whether he went for the 2.5 race or the 2 mile race, I'd be really interested in him. But the fact that I have King Rasco Grey, I don't really see him stepping down in trip. To me, he looks more of a stayer, and He's on Fire over the 2 miles. I just loved what he done at Fairyhouse, and the form reads well, Dave. So 8-1 each way. I'd nearly take a chance that he goes here.
Yeah, it's going to be a fascinating Grade 1. Right, let's move on then, and we take a look at the second of the races. And this, of course, is always fast and furious. It's the 2-mile Punchestown Champion Chase. We've seen some brilliant winners over the years. Who'll step forward to take the prize in 2026, Barry?
Well, there's no margin for error, and one horse that knows that you can't make mistakes in 2-mile, chases in open company is Majborough. And he literally jumped into Newbridge, didn't he, as a novice last season? He jumped left. He was far from straightforward, albeit he went on to win. Look, I thought he wasn't going to take a step backwards after that Dublin Racing Festival performance. To me, look, he's got a nomination on Wednesday's show for, I suppose, the Outstanding Display Award, not at Cheltenham, clearly, at the Dublin Racing Festival. He was absolutely brilliant. And if he turned up in that form, he obviously would have a big chance on this ground. Marine National, interesting. Look, 0 rain schedule there for the next 9 days at least. And reading some of the reports, maybe even, a 2-week period without rain. So the ground is going to be drying out. Marine National, he's 5 from 6 on good ground, and he's 3 from 3 at Punchestown. I thought it was close to a career best effort, if not a career best at the festival last season. Thought he was really good. And Barry Connell, he's in the long grass, isn't he, waiting? And I just think Marine National, he could be tough to beat. The race was really run to suit Elete Tomp at the Cheltenham Festival. Paul Townend gave that an absolute peach, to be fair. And he has the rating to win Elete Tomp, and he's won at Punchestown. I just think Marine National, if he repeats what he did last season at Punchestown, he's going to be tough to beat. And this, to me, looks his Gold Cup. And Barry Connell, as I said, he's waiting the long grass, Dave.
Yeah, he's very much so, Barry. And Marine National, of course, and Barry Connell will be hoping for a really good run in that Grade 1.
It's 2-1.
2-1. Yeah, it looks a fair enough price to it, to be fair about that. Right, before we go into our first ad break, we're going to take a look at the Punchestown Gold Cup. This again looks to have a cracking entry, and it's, as always, going to be, I think, a brilliant race, brilliant spectacle for the week.
Well, Gaelic Warrior, I can't remember a more impressive winner of a Cheltenham Festival Gold Cup. Just visually, Dave, the way he done it. I mean, can you ever remember a horse, or a jockey sit back up after jumping the second last on the proverbial bridle? I mean, Paul Townend, he must have given him absolutely some thrill. And this horse, to be fair, I mean, he's been to Punchestown this season, he's been to Leopardstown on a couple of occasions, and he's ran well, to be fair, even when he has been beaten. It looks a rematch, Dave, from the John Durkin at Punchestown, and I'd definitely be in the Gaelic Warrior camp, to uphold the form here. Simply because, I mean, look at the spring form of Gaelic Warrior. I mean, he seems to do well in the spring, to be fair. Lots of people, including myself, has said in the past that is he a better horse on soft ground? But it was obviously decent enough ground at Cheltenham, and he's absolutely blew them away. 3 from 6 when there's been good in the ground description, 3 from 4 at Punchestown, and 3 from 4 in April, May time as well. So I just think he'll uphold the form. Factifile, obviously he was so good at Leopardstown when we saw him last, didn't run at, would he even run here, Dave? That's the big question. If it is drying out all the time here, will Connections run Factifile? I mean, they didn't run him in Cheltenham in the Ryanair due to the ground. He's 1 from 3 on good ground. And the last 2 times Factifile has won over fences, he's failed to back it up. He's been beaten next time. So, look, Gaelic Warrior, there's only £1 between him on official ratings, Dave. But, if both of them line up here and the ground is on the better side, I'd be with Gaelic Warrior all day long.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you, Barry. I think that performance in Cheltenham with the Gold Cup was it was a marvellous spectacle to watch, and I think it'll be very, very hard to beat in the Gold Cup at Punchestown. Right, that's going to take us nicely into our first break of the show, and we'll be back right after that to look at 2 more races. We'll be also giving you, of course, a full exclusive interview with our special guest, JJ Slevin. We'll be taking a look at other horses with good profiles for Punchestown, and we will be hopefully giving you our best bets and NAP selections for the week of Punchestown. See you in a couple of minutes.
McCafferty's traditional Irish bars are located across Ireland, the UK, Spain and the United Arab Emirates. McCafferty's bars provide the perfect backdrop and atmosphere to watch all horse racing and sports events, serving traditional Irish food and music played 7 days a week. Come to McCafferty's for the crack and stay for the experience. Check out McCafferty'sbars.com.
Yes, you're very welcome back, and a big thank you to each and every one of our sponsors who've been with us through the season. Gorham Park, Boyle Sports, EJ Menswear, Shamrock Thoroughbreds, McCafferty's Irish Bars and Midland Travel. And a big thank you as well to Lonit, who do power our social media clips. We're moving on to the Stayers Hurdle at Punchestown. Have a look at the entries for that one. But of course, one horse who stayed better than any this year has been Home by the Lee. He's been absolutely tremendous. We're going to hear from his jockey, of course, our very special guest, JJ Slevin, in a couple of moments. But he's been the staying division heavyweight, hasn't he, this season, Barry, Home by the Lee?
Thought you were going to say stays longer than the mother-in-law, Dave. But like 2 Grade 1 wins, obviously, in the spring, and 720k in prize money in his career. He turns 12, Dave. It's worth noting on the 7th of May as well. So the same birthday as my wife, Dave. So maybe Home by the Lee can go on and win at the Punchestown Festival once again. And look, he'd have to be a player if he turns up here, Dave. Tiupu for the Stayers Hurdle. He's gone for 3 wins on the bounce. The last 4 favourites in the race have actually won. Tiupu do Bob Ollinger, Honesty Policy. I thought there was reasons to take on those at the top of the market, Dave. And the one I actually like in the race, if he runs, will he please do it? Put Jimmy Desai back over hurdles, because I was crying out for this horse to stay over hurdles this season, not to go over fences, given the depth that Close Sutton has with the likes of obviously Kitzbühel, Final Demand, in that staying chase, novice chase division. This looks an open division, always, it has done in recent years. And Willie Mullen's interesting. He's Jimmy Desai in here and Absurd. So it's interesting. I didn't see Ballyburn the entries, Dave. He's failed over fences, Jimmy Desai. So put him back over hurdles, Willie, if you're listening. He's 14-1 each way. I think it's a good opportunity here because head of the market, look, Tiupu, we know about his record on quick ground. He won obviously last season at the festival on nicer ground, but I think it's known. It's a known fact that he's a better horse on nicer ground. Bob Ollinger, he's 11. I don't think he's improving at the same rate of knots as veteran colleague Home by the Lee. If he runs, he'd obviously have a chance. Honesty Policy is only 6. So Jimmy Desai, look at his performance in the Coral Cup last season at the festival. It was a fantastic training performance from Willie Mullins. He was off the track for 300 plus days, and for him to go and win as impressive as he did. Second on that occasion was Impost Trois. Look what he's gone on to do, winning this season on multiple occasions, achieving a rating of 157. Jimmy Desai was actually giving him £5 on that occasion. He's beaten him by 3 lengths. So that puts him in the ballpark region here of being a contender, certainly, for a race like this. He's double figures, 14-1. I just thought it was interesting that he was entered here. He obviously has a chase entry as well. But what else is Willie Mullins? What else will Paul Townend ride in this race? Does he really, run Jade de Grugy in the race? She's 10-1 in against the gelding. She'd be getting weight. I just think Jimmy Desai, please do it, Willie. He's proven on good ground. Up to 3 miles. Jimmy Desai, back over hurdles, 14-1. I hope that's what they decide to do.
Yeah, hopefully so. Right. Well, the final race of the 5 that we're going to take a look at is, of course, the champion 4-year-old hurdle. And we'll see plenty stars of the future. Barry, what's sticking out from the entries at this point in the 2-mile champion 4-year-old hurdle, Grade 1, to be run on Saturday?
Well, Willie has won this 8 times in the last 10 years. One of which 3 mares, actually, Cargeese, Lossiemouth, Apples, Jade. And I actually liked Majalique, Dave. She was one of our horses to follow at the start of the season. We didn't see her till later in the campaign when she won at Naas in listed company, first time up over hurdles for Willie Mullins. She was a winner over a mile and 2. Real eye catcher when winning at Longchamp on the level before she joined Close Sutton. That was on good ground, good to soft ground in France. She's plenty of boot. She's won over a mile and a quarter, as I said. Her jumping at Naas on debut left a lot to be desired. I don't know how she won there, but she showed a really good attitude. And she was nearly put out through the rail as well after making a mistake at the second last. And I think after jumping the last, she was short of room. But I thought it was a really good effort. She jumped poorly at Fairy House last time. She was only beaten 2 lengths by Proactif. And, she was hampered 3 out. They haven't made a mistake 2 out. So I thought it was a real good effort staying on to finish third, only beaten 2 lengths. She can take a step forward once again. She was the pick of Paul Townend, as I said, she'll be getting weight here. She's 8-1 each way. Majalique, I think definitely there's a day in her, and she seems a little bit overpriced at that. And look, the Triumph winner, he's only had the 1 start, Dave. He was really good in the Triumph, but would you be willing maybe to take him on at 2-1? I thought he was skimpy. Willie Mullins with plenty of chances in the race, but Majalique for me at 8-1, I think she can step forward again.
Yeah, nice selection at the price as well. Right, we're going to head into our next ad break, and right after this, we're going to be taking a look at some other horses with nice Punchestown profiles ahead of the Punchestown Festival.
Now boarding the train of thought.
Calling out. Injury Lane. Statminster. Opinion Circus. Last Chance Cross. And Decision Time.
Back yourself. Boyle Sports.
Yes, you're very welcome back. We're now going to take a look at some other very interesting entries with Punchestown profiles ahead of the 5 days, Barry, of the festival.
Yeah, the first one to mention, Dave, is Dramard. Now, it won the Docks Bumper down at Gorham Park. I was down there just before the festival itself, Dave. And son of Dr. Dino, I just love the way he moved through the race. And you'd imagine, Dave, look, he's an entry in the Grade 1 bumper, but that winner's bumper on the Thursday at Punchestown Dramard, I thought he could be a really smart one for Willie Mullins. Dysart Dynamo has won it in recent years. Ballyburn, York Hill. I think this fella has a similar enough type of profile coming into the race, Dave. As I said, I loved his style of racing. Loved how he done it in the Docks Bumper. And plenty of chat about him on course as well prior to that Gorham Park win. So son of Dr. Dino. And I think the Dam was pretty high class as well. So, Dramard. That's one that definitely is on the list. Put a pound in the jar, Dave, off 124. Has come back down in the ratings. I think it was rated 127 in Ireland, 133 in the UK, 124 now in Ireland over hurdles for that man, Tony Martin. Won at the festival last season, proven on nice ground, hasn't got his ground at any stage this year over hurdles, and won his prep on the level at Bellewstown over a mile and three nicely, I thought, the other day. And I thought he would be really interesting. Possibly for that Killashee handicap. That looks to me the obvious one. And I mean, 124 last year, Dave, would have got you in practically off bottom weight. So he could sneak in down the bottom for Tony Martin. I'd be quite keen on Put a Pound in the Jar, who won with Sean Bowen on his back last season at the festival itself. Pat's Legacy, good initiative, of course. The Albert Bartlett Triple Crown Series final is, I think it's on the Wednesday, possibly the Thursday. But Pat's Legacy was one I had mapped out for that race, Dave. 5 starts in his career. First start in handicap company, won very, very snugly for Ian Dunne, who was well capable in handicaps, and I thought he was really good when winning a course at Down Royal last time. Son of Walk in the Park by presenting off 117, Dave. He'll be carrying a nice weight as well. So Pat's Legacy. And 2 as well for the handicap chase, Dave, that Willie Mullins has a tremendous record in. He's won 8 of the last 10 renewals. Finica La won with Harry Cobden on board down in Cork last time. I thought he could be nicely off a nice mark potentially for that race. And Where's My Jet? Not giving up, Dave. He could be a good each way one as well for that same race. So, yeah, Finica La, Where's My Jet in that handicap chase. Willie Mullins with a tremendous record in that 2.5 mile handicap chase at the festival itself, Dave.
Yeah, brilliant. Right. Okay, we're going to head into our next ad break on the show. And right after this, we will hear from this week's very special guest, JJ Slevin.
Midland Travel in Tullamore have been providing a full range of horse racing packages for over 20 years, catering for all types of budgets. And they're off. Stephen and the team at Midland Travel can help you realise your sporting travel dreams. Midland Travel are the only company in Ireland that runs coach and ferry packages from both Manchester United and Liverpool. Check out midlandtravel.ie or contact 057 932 6777 for more information.
Yes, well, as the National Hunt season, of course, comes to a close, and we're getting towards Punchestown, of course, and the awards night as well next week on the Champ.ie podcast. One horse that got, of course, a big nomination for the Horse of the Year, Champ.ie Horse of the Year. This is a man, JJ Slevin. You know all about Home by the Lee. What a season for that horse.
Yeah, he's had a great season. Obviously, he started off, he was 4th at Christmas when Harry Cobden rode and ran a nice race price first run back, and then won the Galmoy Hurl well in Gorn in testing ground, and then went on and was brilliant in the Stayers Hurl in Cheltenham, and then showed a great day in Aintree there a couple of weeks ago. So, yeah, at the age of 11, he's having a great year.
You say at the age of 11, I do believe he's 12 years of age on the 7th of May. So what a servant he's been for connection. Eight graded wins, 720k in prize money. Could you have imagined what he's gone on to achieve this year, especially at the ripe old age of 11?
Yeah, no, it was hard to envisage it. I think at that age, and he's been campaigned. Honestly, he's been campaigned, tried hard every year, and it's hard to see him improving at that age. But it looks like he has. I suppose coming into this year, you're thinking that maybe he's going to. The sun is starting to set a little bit with him, but it's quite the opposite. He's going stronger than ever.
I suppose from to do it on different types of ground as well. The Galma, I was in Gorn Park that day, spoke to you after the race. I mean, he really picked up on testing ground. And, he's a really versatile horse. I mean, do it on quick ground and at Cheltenham and Aintree as well. I mean, nothing seems to faze him.
No, he's just in a great frame of mind this year for galloping, and he's really, really sweet, and he's, backed up his each run each year. He seems to be getting better, and probably, maybe had a career best the last day in Aintree. He was really impressive the last day. Drew right away in the closing stages.
What do you think has been the key with him then? So where do you think this improvement has come from this year?
I find it fairly hard to put my finger on it. He's looked really well all year, and he's been in really good form at home. And but I can't really pinpoint any one reason why he's suddenly, scaled even greater heights than he already has. We're riding him a little bit more forward. Maybe sometimes we used to end up back a bit in a race, but I think that was because he used to end up back because maybe he wasn't travelling or going through the race as well as normal. But this time round, he's out flowing along there, sitting handy or making his own running sometimes, and he's a different horse anyway. But I can't really, don't think there's any real secret to it,
And JJ, what a season it's been for yourself. Look, 40 winners, over 40 winners, I do believe, I suppose across the water, both sides combined. A Grade 1 winner at the Cheltenham Festival, a Grade 1 double at Aintree, and very nearly a Grade 1 treble. Of course, Solness run a cracker as well at Aintree. Yeah,
look, I've been lucky this year. Obviously, some great people to ride for. With the privilege to be in the position I'm in with the Double Green. Great to be associated with them and riding for them. And Joseph obviously has had a small team, but he's had a great year. And then obviously still Martin Brazel has been a great supporter with Sean and Bernardine Mulrine as well, and Stuart Crawford. So I've been lucky. But yeah, Joseph's horses were in great form, great heart this year. Zeus Power was very good, and obviously home by the Lee. And we had Talk to Talk at Dublin Racing Festival. It was great to get a Grade 1 with him. And Solness, probably that was a real a belter the last day, but unfortunately came out on the wrong side of a battle with Grey Dawning. But yeah, Joseph had a great time, so we've been very lucky.
Just on Zeus Power, one of the nominations for I suppose training performance of the year was the job Joseph has done with Zeus Power. I mean, he's had 7 starts, and to bring him, I suppose, all the way to reach a crescendo and winning a Grade 1. I mean, beating in a bumper at the start of the campaign, and to go on then and eventually be placed at Cheltenham in Grade 1 company, and then to win over 2.5 miles in Grade 1 company at Aintree. I mean, he's improved so much.
Yeah, beating in 2 bumpers in Galway twice, and he was impressive in his second in a maiden hurdle, and he was really impressive in a maiden. And then he was, he went on, he won in Navan, Richard Egan won on Maturless, and I won on in Navan, then he ran a belter in Cheltenham. That was a huge run, we thought. We were over the moon with him that day, and then he was really impressive in Aintree. He's kept, improving as the year went on. Only a 5-year-old, so he could be an exciting horse for the future. But he's going the right way anyway. He feels like a faster horse than home by the 8 minute. He's keen and travelled really strong in Aintree, but look at you. That's novice division. Wants to step up into the senior division. It's a different ball game. You have to step up and improve again, but he's on the right path, and he feels like a stayer with a bit of speed, which is a big help. But he's had a great season, and he'll enjoy a good long rest now. But look, I'm sure there's loads of races for him there in the autumn, and we'll find out, where he is before Christmas. Hopefully, all going well,
Obviously, a week to Punchestown. What about Punchestown? I suppose team-wise from Joseph. I mean, are we likely to have many runners heading to the Punchestown Festival? You rode, of course. Was it 3 winners at the festival last year? You had a great time of it there.
Yeah, I've been lucky the last 2 years. So probably not a massive team. Just obviously hasn't got a huge amount of jumpers. The double green lads have a few there. So yeah, we're looking forward to it. Obviously, great week's race and every sort of race and banks race and all. So wouldn't mind picking up a spin in some of those. But yeah, looking forward to it now.
La Labo was one that did have an entry. I thought he was he looked good when he won at Naas last time, and could he be one maybe that could step up and grade up, put just down a nicer ground?
Yeah, I think so. He's an exciting horse. Could be a chaser for next year for the Gleasons. He was going to put Kazansky to bed, and he ended up being a top class horse for Gordon. He placed in a grade 1, and he's a very good horse, Kazansky, and I was going to beat him well, and he's tipped up the last in Cork, and then he broke his maiden in a graded race in Naas. So yeah, he's going the right way now, and could be an exciting chaser for next year, no matter what happens in Punchestown, you know.
Solness, he's one I want to mention. Obviously, skipped Cheltenham. The fact that he skipped Cheltenham, is there a possibility we might see him in Punchestown once again?
I think so. I suppose we're on now road with him. There's nowhere else to go, so I presume he'll go there. He's fit and well, and he's fresh at home. So I'd be thinking he might turn up in the 2 mile race there at Punchestown and see what happens. Yeah.
Horse maybe to follow, young horse into next season. Maybe one for us to keep an eye on. Yeah, there's plenty of nice young horses around there. Double Green have a nice team coming through. They have a horse called Look Me, second in the entry bumpers. A nice sort of horse. He's maturing away there, so he could be one maybe to keep an eye on. Have to mention before I let you go, Talk the Talk. How is he?
He's on his holidays. He had a great year. He won his grade 1, and he was unlucky at Christmas. He did every chance, and he came down to last and disappointed in Cheltenham, but that's one of them things. And going to get a nice long break, and it will get him in nice and early, and we'll go chasing next year. Hopefully all going well, to get a few nice schools into him before he has his first run over fences, and hope for the best. So looking forward to him now for next year for novice chasing.
Yes, well, before we finish up, we have to take a look at the best bets for Punchestown week. Marine Nationale and Gaelic Warrior would be the two that would stand out for me currently. Barry, for you, what would you like for the week?
Well, Gaelic Warrior at the moment, he certainly is a decent price. That race could cut up. He could go off odds on for that Gold Cup. But in terms of a nap, Dave, put a pound in the jar. I think really, really impressed with how this horse won at Bellewstown on his prep. And I think, right down the bottom of the weights of the Killashee handicap, he's going to be a price. Put a pound in the jar for that man, Tony Martin, in a handicap at Punchestown. Won at the festival last season off 124. He could be nicely treated, and conditions will suit. And Drummond for the next best, Dave, in the bumper, in that set on Thursday's bumper. As mentioned, Dysart, Dynamo, York Hill, Ballyburn, some smart types have won the race for Willie Mullins in the past. I was down in Gore, and when he won, he was really impressive. Loved the style of racing, and I'd say he could be smart going forward.
Well, that's it. That's another Champ.ie horse racing podcast. We thank you for your company. We hope Punchestown is a good week for you. And thanks once again to all of you for watching. From Barry and myself, we'll see you later in the week.
From Dundalk to Longchamp, from the Galway races to the Breeders' Cup, Shamrock Thoroughbreds recently celebrated their 100th winner, and Ireland's leading racehorse syndicate has taken owners all over the world. Shamrock Thoroughbreds founder Stephen Thorne remarkably won the Winter Trainers' Championship at Dundalk during his first season as a racehorse trainer. To experience success with Shamrock Thoroughbreds and Stephen Thorne Racing, check out shamrockthoroughbreds.com.